Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the DFS Tailgate with me, Nate, at JanateJackFF, my homie over here, Conor Coughlin at CoughDFS. You may notice we are sans Bo McGregor at Bo McBigtime, the hot sauce daddy, the king of spice, is having Wi-Fi issues because it is pouring rain in Northern California, which is fantastic because they need it. They need it so bad.
He'd have you believe it's some day after tomorrow type of stuff going on out there right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, hey, we're not there. It very well could be. Who knows? But even without Bo, we're here to help you make some money this weekend in a very rough Sunday. Not only do we have 6 teams on bye and guys like Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley already out this week, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Woke up to the news this morning. Ramondre Stevenson in New England is inactive. Sterling Shepard is not playing today. Devontae Parker is not playing today. Ouch. Julio Jones does look like he is going to play today, so that's good news. Or is it? I guess it depends on how much A.J. Brown you have floating out there. So yeah, I mean, it's a wild week. This is a wild week.
Yeah, and it's like you and I were talking about before we came on air too. It's like when you get into like Draftkings, it's like the plays you want to play are really tough to play because of the pricing. It's like it just leaves you like really throwing some darts, at certain positions like running back or wide receiver. You really only can afford to pay up for one if you want to put in a decent quarterback. But we'll get to it. We got a couple of weird ideas that might work.
Yeah. So the first thing we're going to get to here, our fantastic sponsor, Underdog. If you're not familiar with Underdog, you really should get familiar with Underdog. It's a fantastic platform. They're out there giving you all sorts of different crazy types of like props and stacks. We've got awesome weekly contests. And it's a different format than what you're used to with DraftKings. If you haven't tried it before, use the promo code IBT, make a $10 deposit. You get a $10 credit to play on the site. You get it immediately. This being the difference between a lot of other sites. They're not going to give it to you incrementally as you play. It's there. It's in your account. You can use it this morning. So check it out with that promo code IBT and get it to it. And with that, we've got some props that we want to talk about for Underdog this morning. It's all over under. How it kind of works is you stack 5 to win 20 times whatever you put in. So you put in $5, you could win 100 if you hit all 5. A really cool parlay, if you will. So
and I will.
and I will. So let's talk about some props. I didn't have as much time to prep for this morning as I would have liked. That said, I'm a big prop guy. I love these over-unders. I'm always on them. I'm on them every week if I can. The first one I want to talk about, we've got Ryan Tannehill over-under 0.5 interceptions. I'm smashing the under on this one against Kansas City because this secondary they don't have a turnover this season, this defense. If I remember correctly, they don't have a single turnover.
It sounds right. I mean, just watching them, it sounds right.
Yeah, so, I mean, I feel like it's a pretty safe bet here against Kansas City that Tannehill's probably not going to throw an interception. He hasn't been the Tanny we came to know and love last season, but in this matchup, I'm smashing that under. Next one, I'm going to take the over on Derrick Henry at 124.5 rushing yards. Again, Kansas City's defense, not great. So this is a prop stack I really like, those two. I think Derrick Henry's good for 150 and a touchdown to 2 this week.
Yeah, I'm 100% on board, and I just kind of like the Titans a lot in this spot, period. So I'm not going to get any argument from me.
Yeah. All right. So the next one, I like Jacoby Myers to hit the over on 61.5 receiving yards this week. They're going up against the New York Jets. Jacoby Myers has really been the wide receiver one without a touchdown in that offense. That's the only thing he hasn't done. He's got the receiving yards. He's getting the volume. And I think this is a week where he definitely hits over that 61.5. You're only asking him to get 62 yards receiving. And against a putrid Jets team, and with as well as Mac Jones has been playing, I think that's a smash as well.
Yeah, I love that too. I mean, this is shaping up to be easy money on this parlay you put together.
I hope so. That's what we're going for. All right, so now we've got the Baltimore versus Cincinnati game. We've got Marquise Brown, 63.5 receiving yards. I'm taking the under on that because we've got Rashad Bateman. And we saw Rashad Bateman getting way more targets than I think anyone expected last week. And that cut into Marquise Brown's workload. And I think that's going to continue again this week against Cincinnati. They're going to be throwing the ball, but they're going to be throwing it to Rashad Bateman. They're not going to be, and Mark Andrews is going to get the work. And even with Sammy Watkins out this week, it's still Sammy Watkins we're talking about.
Well, and the Mark Andrews part is the part that I think that you got Bateman and Andrews, and Andrews was already on the uptick for some of the usage over the last couple of weeks anyways, in terms of target share and just overall performance as far as fantasy is concerned. So I'm kind of with you. I kind of think Brown may have a down week.
Yeah. I think Brown's going to continue to have down weeks moving forward. There's still some value there, but on this week and this prop, I mean, I'm taking the under on it. And my final stack of 5 to win me $100, hopefully. Come on, I need the money. Matt Ryan against Atlanta. I'm taking the over on 281.5 passing yards. Matt Ryan has been a lot better the last few weeks. He's coming off a bye. He's fresh. And he's got the breakout from Kyle Pitts. He's got Calvin Ridley back and healthy. Not that he was healthy. He just was out for family reasons. Cordarrelle Patterson is still rolling. I think Matty Ice is Matty Ice this week, and I think he drops at least 300 yards on this Miami defense. The Miami defense, who should be noted, got beat by Jacksonville last week in London.
It should be noted. Yeah, I'm with you. And this is one of the games, too, that I actually want to target kind of all over the place. I think there's just tons of good plays, and I'm with you. I think Matt Ryan, I think that's a smash. I think he's going to just tear it up today. There's, again, easy money. There's nothing I want to debate with you on that.
So a couple others I'm just going to throw out here real quick. I'm taking Mike Gesicki over 49.5 receiving yards with Devontae Parker out. I think that's a pretty easy smash prop play. And I like Chuba Hubbard over 75.5 rushing yards against the Giants. I mean,
thankful Bo is not on.
Yeah, I know, but he might agree with me. You never know. It's hard to say. He hasn't jumped in the comments yet to tell me I'm an idiot. So, maybe he's watching, maybe he's not.
Well, he's out there in post-apocalyptic Sacramento. So
right. And one more I'm going to hit on. I'm taking the under on Miles Sanders at 61.5 rushing yards because he had 1 carry in the first half last week. You're just simply not going to see the usage. And with Philly up against Vegas actually has a pretty decent run defense. I think they're going to be more in the air in this one, and Jalen Hurts' legs is where they're going to need to be. And Miles Sanders is going to be left out in the cold, and I think you can confidently take that under.
Yeah, I'm with you on that too. Like you just said, I mean, I think Hurts is going to be the primary option on the ground. So
yeah. Yep. All right. So I think we're solid on the underdog props. I feel good about it. I forgot to play our awesome video from the man Third and Short. I'm just going to pop this up real quick. I had to play it.
The man works so hard for us. At least he will play his stuff.
Exactly. And shout him out because he is the man. So again, guys, if you haven't played on Underdog, you like what you're hearing about what we're talking about with Underdog, you want to get on some of these props, some of these weekly contests, use the promo code IBT with a $10 deposit. You get $10 credit immediately in your account today to use to play. So check that out. Next up, we're going to talk some monkey knife fight. All right. So Connor, my friend, my buddy, you've got some NKF versus contests.
Yep. Similar and kind of similar to Underdog in a way. You're just building some prop bets. Nice thing over here is you can do what they call rapid fire, which are head to heads. They're going to give you a little edge on one player or another, but they'll break it up. Also, they'll have the early slate, late slate, or you can go game by game. So last week we went early slate. This week I think we're going to go late slate. And the first one that I've got Tom Brady over Matt Stafford by 7.5 passing yards. I think this one could go either way. I really, really like Stafford this week. I think he's just going to really beat up on the Lions, but Brady's just been super consistent. So, and if you look at the overall average yards week to week, I'm going to take the consistency here. 7.5 is not a ton of yards. So
I could see it happening. I mean, like you said, Tom Brady's been consistent and he's been lights out. Dude's 44 years old, balling out here. It's insane to see. And while I do think Stafford's going to go off, I think that there's a chance they use Daryl Henderson a little bit more because they can run the ball with Daryl Henderson and they don't have to continue to just like air it out nonstop. They're going to be ahead in this game very quickly. Detroit's not a good team. And that says they're going to be running the ball. Unless Matthew Stafford's like, no, I want to keep battering this stupid team that wasted most of my career to just being terrible. I like it. I'm on board with it.
Well, and you and I were talking about a little bit before we came on that, like I can see Stafford going one of two ways. I could see him being QB1 this week, or I could see him not even cracking like the top 10. And I think it's all game flow dependent, like if he gets into a situation where they're way up, way quick, then they're just going to feed Henderson. And I still don't like Daryl Henderson, but I'll eat some crow on last week. Like I was very, very wrong and he looked pretty good. And, I expect more of that this week though. So Stafford's got some fantasy value, but I don't know that he outthrows Brady this weekend.
Yeah, I can see that. Okay. So next up,
I've got Cooper Kupp over Godwin. They're giving Godwin 19.5. So this one I'm a little sketchy on, but this goes back to the Stafford piece. Like if we're gonna get up quick, I think it goes. A lot of that goes through Kupp. I can see him being right around that 100-yard mark, which is about where he's been more often than not. And then if you look at Godwin's kind of been fluctuating. 1 week you got about 40 yards, the next week you got about 70, 80 yards. Like I just think that the path to Kupp getting there is a hell of a lot easier than Godwin getting more than Kupp.
I agree. The only question I have on this one is with Antonio Brown being out, do you think Godwin sees an uptick, or do you think that goes more towards Tyler Johnson and Leonard Fournette?
I just don't know. And like that's the problem with Tampa Bay, right? Is that they're a productive offense, no doubt about it. But Brady, just like Brady's always done in fantasy sports, just peppers everybody. Like it's just how do you know? And that does worry me. I mean, honestly, this is probably the sketchiest part of this 5-leg, but again, Kupp's been on a tear.
You got to risk it for the biscuit, man. I mean, that's how you win in this world. I don't hate it because I do agree with you. I think Kupp's going to see volume. I don't think anything changes for Chris Godwin. I think if anything, we see Mike Evans get a little uptick in targets. Tyler Johnson get some usage because we saw Brady using him last season before AB got rolling. And Leonard Fournette's been solid in that offense. And I think they can do other things. And Godwin probably ends up below Kupp. And I think you're spot on here.
Yeah, here's hoping. So next one we got Robert Woods over DeAndre Swift for receptions. And they're giving DeAndre Swift a half. So they're basically calling it even. And I think it's one of two ways. I think it's either high volume and Woods is going to crush Swift on receptions, or it's going to be the other way. And Daryl Henderson is going to take over and we're going to be left holding the bag.
I like this call though, Woods over Swift. For me with Swift, the Rams are going to be down early in this game, as we've already discussed, and they're going to be throwing to guys like Amon-Ra St. Brown and Khalif Raymond and TJ Hawkinson. The short stuff isn't going to fly this week if they want to stay in this game. So that really limits Swift's, I think, receiving upside in this matchup. And I like that call.
Yeah. And if you just kind of compare the two, Robert Woods, even when Kupp is going off, he's still getting 5+ targets every game. Swift is a little under that. I don't know. I'm with you. I just kind of lean Woods. Again, it's the path to getting there that I always look at, and it just seems more likely.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. So this next one, your favorite guy.
Yeah, it's my favorite dude. So Daryl Henderson over Leonard Fournette. They're giving Fournette 16.5 rushing yards. I don't think that this is even close. Regardless of how the game flow ends up going in that LA game, they don't use Fournette to the volume that they're going to use Henderson, and
Right.
so it's 16.5 yards. It seems like a lot, but I mean, I think even if they don't just completely go to the run, I see Henderson getting over or close to 100 anyway. And Fournette, I just maybe 70.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Tampa Bay doesn't like to run the ball as much. I mean, they've got Tom Brady, who's found the fountain of youth somewhere and is still slinging it. And I mean, Daryl Henderson is a guy that we've seen. They're using him a lot, and he has looked fantastic in his opportunities. And this is a week where they're going to be up, they're going to be running the ball. So I like it.
Yeah, I actually feel pretty safe on that too. No need to beat that horse.
Yeah.
Last one I've got is Hopkins over Evans on receiving yards. They're only giving Evans 1.5 yards here. I do not see any way that Hopkins does not just crush Evans head to head.
Arizona's playing the Houston Texans, so yeah.
I think on a given week that's probably a pretty close prop. But I don't know, unless somebody runs on the field and kneecaps Hopkins, I just don't see it.
Yeah, as we get a notification that DeAndre Hopkins has been ruled out for the week. Oh, man.
And a non-related news, Tanya Harding is at the stadium today.
Yeah, dude, this is a pretty safe one. I like you said, unless somebody blows out his kneecaps, with just 1.5. Yeah, no, this is a smash.
Yeah, that one.
Smash. I love it.
That's all I got for you right now. I got a couple of 10-leggers, but I won't burden you with those.
That's deep, man. All right, well, let's talk about one other sponsor we have. And I can't speak as eloquently about said sponsor as Mr. Seth can, because I've never gotten a haircut from Steven. But I know that he gives good haircuts because I have seen the haircuts in person that he gives Seth. So if you're over in that Pennsylvania area and you need a haircut, Steven's Quality Barber Shop. They do good work. Like I said, I've seen Seth's hair in person. Shout out to Steven for making him look good for our shows, so I don't have to be embarrassed of being on camera with Seth. I much appreciate that. So yeah, if you're in that PA area, check out Steven's Quality Barber Shop. They'll give you a good haircut. And now we're going to move on to our final segment, our Draftkings segment, King of the Crop, folks.
Come at the king, you best not miss.
All right, guys. So it's time to talk some DraftKings. Shout out to Jen for bringing me coffee that I needed very badly this morning.
Jen, bring me a coffee, please.
You're too far away. You live in the Dakotas.
They're separate places, right?
Well, yeah.
I'm not omnipresent in both.
Are you not? Are you sure? I really thought you were, but I mean, what do I know?
Shit, I'm closer to Minnesota and Iowa than I am to North Dakota.
Really? Interesting.
Oh yeah, Sioux Falls. A lot of people don't know this. Well, quick geography. Sioux Falls is like basically 70 miles from the border of Iowa. It's about literally I can be in Minnesota in 10 minutes from where I'm at. It's the shotgun on the highway and you're into Minnesota.
Oh, so you're basically a Minnesotan.
Well, I mean, the wife is. But yeah, no, Fargo. So Fargo, which is probably the only place in North Dakota anybody would really know, is probably 2.5, 3 hours.
Okay.
I can be damn near to the Twin Cities by that.
Oh, wow.
So
okay, little Connor locational geography.
Yep. If anybody's ever in Sioux Falls, and no idea why you would be, but if you are, you can hit me up on here.
Yeah, go have a beer with Conor.
Hey, come be a guest on the show in Sioux Falls.
Yeah, that would be awesome. All right, so let's talk some DraftKings.
Yeah, so there's 3 games that I'm kind of looking at. I'm looking at the Rams game, obviously. I'm interested in the Chiefs-Titans game. And then the weird one, and I only say it's weird because I think it's a bunch of weird pieces, but the Atlanta-Miami game really interests me too. Okay. So the Atlanta-Miami game, the biggest reason that I'm kind of looking at that one is like we were talking about, is strictly a pricing play. It's really hard to stack the other games that I mentioned and have decent value through the rest of your plays. So kind of where I'm starting some of these lineups, looking at the Miami game, I am playing Tua, which is, hold your nose and press the add button.
Sure, but at $5,500 for your quarterback, that's good. Yeah.
And I like that. Then I can play him with Gesicki, and Gesicki is essentially a wide receiver for the Dolphins, especially with Parker out. You're paying $4,700 for him on DraftKings. As far as tight ends go, it's just really hard to have a more solid play or value, I guess. I mean, when you look at Travis Kelce is $7,600, Darren Waller $6,700, Andrews $6,000, Pitts $5,900. I mean, now you're getting up into the mid-tier wide receiver pricing, and I just don't. Though I think the first 3 listed there definitely are going to hit value. Once you start getting to Pitts, Hawkinson, Goddard, Higbee, some of these guys, I'd rather take my $5,000 and spend it on a wide receiver. Gesicki feels the safest out of that bunch at $4,700. So that's the main motivating factor to start him there, because then that allows you to get Derrick Henry into your lineup. It allows you to get Devontae Adams into your lineup if you want. I've even got one stacked where I went Derrick Henry and Aaron Jones in the same lineup with Tua and Gesicki. So, I mean, there's ways that you can lock down about an average of 20-ish points per player on those 5 guys and feel pretty good about it.
Yeah.
And still have some salary left to play around with. As far as the Rams game goes, I'm playing it pretty straight up. I'm not trying to get cute with it. I'm playing it from the LA side, mixing and matching. I did play it kind of game script going aerial, and then I played it kind of where it tapers off and goes a lot of ground game. I like all the pieces of the Rams side, especially offensively in that game. So that one, I mean, we've already belabored the hell out of that one, but do you have any takes on that, Nate? You got any weird ones in that game that maybe you can get leverage with?
Well, so I'm kind of looking through here. A weird play guy I like, and I like him this week because I think he's going to score a touchdown, is Van Jefferson. And I'm trying to find him on here, and I am getting way, way down.
I'll save you the trouble. 3,500.
I feel like at 3,500 for a guy that reasonably he should catch a touchdown today. It just, in how the season has gone, I think he's worth it. I think he's worth a toss in at 3,500.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're going to stack that game up, it's a little. It's not super pricey, but it's not cheap. So having an option at 3,500. The other thing I like doing is playing Jefferson as a standalone in my Kansas City stack, because the Kansas City stack, no matter what you do, is the most expensive. Most expensive thing that you can do this week. So you got to find salary relief somewhere. So I love that Jefferson play.
Yeah. I think another, we'll get to, this is a different matchup, but it's a player I like this week that I've already kind of talked about. I just want to throw this up here because Craig's my boy and he's hilarious. Yep. I have an old map where it was just 1 Dakota. I didn't know there were North and South Dakota. I'm sorry. My bad. Terrible.
Hey, this is no bullshit. I want to say probably a year ago, somebody started a petition to get the Dakotas combined and call it Megakota. I'm not even kidding. And there were thousands of people that signed this thing. And I'm like,
I would have signed it. Hey, sounds fun. Why not?
Yeah,
it doesn't hurt anybody.
gonna have a theme park on the border and shit. I mean, it just it just struck me as so like backwoods. Like, well, we'll just
Welcome
call
to
it
Megakota.
Megakota.
Megakota. The
Oh
place where
god.
there are no taxes.
A couple of other little tidbits since we had a couple seconds here. Go online and look at bad campaigns on YouTube for South Dakota. Like, there's one that's like, why visit or why travel to Mars when you can live in South Dakota? It's like, what? Like, where's that connection? And then we
Right.
had my favorite ad campaign: "Don't jerk and drive." That's a thing. I swear to you, that is a real thing. Now they're talking about ice. Don't jerk the wheel if you start to slide.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But still.
And then there's the one everyone knows: meth, we're on it. Meaning we're trying to clean it up.
We're trying. It doesn't mean that we're on it like, let's go.
Uh-huh.
This is a very awake state, guys.
I know those are very edgy topics I just brought up, but I swear to you, they are 100% real. Like that, those are real things.
Hey, this is DFS. If you're not over 18 and you're watching this, I don't know why you're watching it. You can't play any of it.
Heavy content for a Sunday morning.
Well, yeah, you know.
If you're just leaving church, thanks for tuning in.
Craig, shout out to Craig. He's the best gift maker on the planet and just a solid dude. Thanks for tuning in, my friend. All right, so let's get back to what else do we got here?
So the Kansas City game is probably the only other one that I really am actively trying to find ways to be a little bit different in. You really can't play Mahomes Kelsey, Mahomes Hill, bring it back with Henry. You really can't. I mean, the pricing just doesn't work. And if it does, like, you're really throwing about 6 darts to kind of round out your lineup, which, hey, stranger things happen. But so what I've kind of done is I've kind of gone a lot of Tannehill heavy. Started with Tannehill, gone down kind of, I hate to say this, but I've kind of faded Henry in quite a few lineups and kind of given a little nod and gone AJ Brown instead. I think both have good value this week. I just think Derrick Henry at $9,200. I'm not saying don't play Henry. I think Henry is going to crush, but Derrick Henry has to be the value of about 2 people at that point. Is the only thing to think about. So I did a lot of Tannehill Brown. I brought it back with Kelsey, or I brought it back with McCole Hardman. Just anything to be a little different in that game, because I think that's the highest projected points on the board this week. So you want pieces of that game. And I think people are going to do stupid stuff this week, trying to ram in Mahomes, Kelsey, stacks and bring it back with Derrick Henry, because that's the surefire thing. The problem is it leaves you with about $4,700 for each player left for your roster, which, again, there's some value in there. We've touched on a couple of them, but I'm just saying maybe fade some of that and try and do something a little different. You got any takes on maybe under the radar guys in that game?
In that game, I like Daryl Williams a lot. I just, on a show I was just on, I said I think he's a better running back than CEH, period. And I've thought that since last season. I just don't like CEH. So I think he's a good under the radar guy you could grab. I don't know exactly what his salary is right now. I mean, McCole Hardman, because Tyreek Hill's been limited in practice all week. He might be a guy that could have some value somewhere. But I mean, those are major dart throws.
I actually don't feel like Hardman is that big of a dart throw. Like, they were even using him, or they've been using him enough. And to your point with Tyreek being a little dinged up. And Hardman, I think, is 4,100. I like the Williams play. He's at about 5,800, which is a little more than I'd want to pay for him. But I don't think he's going to be super popular. So I don't hate that either. And then Westbrook on the Titans side is another salary saver that I think may at least get a few targets and has looked decent. I mean, when they target him, he's looked good.
Yeah, I like that. That.
But outside of that, I mean, the big ones like we were talking about, may eat my words on this one, but I really think that one of the best values on the board this week is going to be Gesicki. I think at $4,700, you just pencil him in for the targets. I mean, with Devontae out.
Yeah, and Tua likes him, as we know. So a guy outside of these matchups we just talked about that I want to tell you that you should maybe look into is Tyler Johnson. I'm just saying, man, dude's up for some sneaky value, and I've been hammering that since yesterday. Like with AB out, just consider it because he's $3,000, $3K.
Yeah. Well, and when receivers have been banged up over there, he's actually gotten not a great amount of targets, but for Tom Brady, a decent amount of targets. Yeah. I mean, he's gotten one game they targeted him 6 times, 3 times, 2. I mean, so $3,000 if you really are trying to stack the top, or you really are trying to make the Mahomes, Kelsey, Henry stack a thing. Jefferson and Johnson might be good plays in that lineup.
I mean, he had, so against the Rams in week 3, he had 3 catches for 63 yards. I mean, he was good for 9.3 points. And for a guy at that salary, when you're trying to get some of the higher level guys in, I'll take that 9.3 points. And this could be a week where you see that happen again.
Well, exactly. I mean, that's plenty of value. I mean, I know that sounds like a low number to a lot of people, but 9.3 and only paying $3,000. I mean, that's cheaper than most of the defenses on the slate this week that are going to score you 4 points.
Right. So there you go. Tyler Johnson to the moon just this week, but just I'm going to need him to do well. This is brutal, man.
This is going to be the one show Bo's just going to look back on and go, yeah, great picks, idiots.
Or he's going to be like, I need to refine my process. Look what these guys did. That is highly unlikely, but you never know. We are smart, man. We're smart. We don't need Bo.
I miss him. They're sharps, and then I'm like a dull. I'm like a dull blade. Like it still cuts stuff.
Oh man. All right, guys. Well, I think that kind of wraps it up for us. We kept it on the short side because we don't have Bo to argue with. Connor and I tend to see eye to eye on most things, so there you go. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in to the DFS Tailgate. I want to implore all of you to have a fantastic Sunday. And with how crazy things are with our lineups, maybe like set your stuff and then don't look at it the rest of the day because it's just going to stress you out. Watch football. Have fun.
100%. Don't sit there and get refreshed on your gambling. Enjoy football. Enjoy your friends and family. Have a good Sunday.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, you can find me at JackFF on Twitter. You can find Connor over here at Cough_DFS on Twitter. We're always here. If you've got questions during the week about setting some lineups, hit us up. This is what we do. We love to talk football. So we're always here to help you, not just on the show, but please make sure you're tuning into the show where we give solid, fantastic advice. Go play Underdog. Go play Monkey Knife Fight. Go play DraftKings. Have a great weekend. Win some money. We're out.
Cheers.